the one who wrote the feminist movement in the Philippines. Next would be Encarnacion Alzona, a pioneering Filipino historian and educator, and was first Filipino who obtained a PhD. And lastly, Cecilia Manguera Brainard is a Filipino author of historical fiction. She's also the writer of Magdalena, Woman with Horns and Other Stories, and other literary works.
Village fiction. Unsurprisingly, these women tend most of the time to write about the middle-class world they know intimately by direct experience. Village fiction. Kirima Polutan has termed this writing. No energy nor intensity or intelligence is needed in the form, but its limitations are formative. The writings are conservative, even reflective in tone. They may be brilliantly ironic in their analysis of the scene.
Contemporary women's writing. The first of these developments is the politicization of women's writing as precipitated by the nationalist movement during the late 60s and early 70s. The politicization of women writers affected the changes not only in their choices of subject matter, but also of medium. Like the peers, some women writers switched from English to the vernacular languages in the hope of reaching a wider readership whose consciousness they hope is to raise. Other writers choose to become bilingual, hoping for wider readership, even as they retain their regular readers by writing in English. Bilingual poets presented abound by Mara Lanot and Benilda Santos write in both Filipino and English. Joy Byros and Jareena have recently published volumes of poetry featuring bilingual texts written by English and Filipino. Unlike some of the contemporaries who made deliberate effort to reach out to a wider and mixed audience by publishing poems both in English and Filipino version. The second development in women's writing is self-reflective affirmation of womanhood. When the political crisis was at its height, women felt obliged to act as Filipinos first, as women as. Only after that. But as the political crisis subsided, women felt free to put their specific concerns as women at the top of the feminist agenda. Women were now discovering and renewing age-old ties and kinship with other women. Going beyond the bounds and bonds of the family, they express unexpected feelings of kinship and strangers. Marjorie Vasco, with a street urchin selling sampaguitas. Rowena Tempo Tortillas, with a woman on the hill of the town. Merlinda Bobis, with a vendor of mangoes. Kinship of these women perceived as not merely one of the political alliance, but of the personal bonding. In 1983, Caracua, the literary journal of exclusively made Philippine Literary Arts Council, devoted an entire issue to the works of the 9 women poets. The following year, Women in Media now published 12 volumes featuring women's works. In 1988, the Cultural Center of the Philippines Literary Journal produced an issue featuring only women's work. In 1991, the Babaylan Women's Publishing Collective was organized and has since produced several works. Ultimately, much more significant than these special issues is the steadily growing number of works contributed by women to current publications. The growth is graphically marked by Jimena Abad's 3-volume retrospective anthology of Philippine poetry in English. The first volume, covering roughly the first 50 years, includes only 6 women among a total of 80. The second volume, 5 among 49. The third, present time, approximately 10 to 25 women among 50.
Writing about their colleagues. Where else do they
Unsaon pag-isa sa bana nga manghulga sa asawang dili kahibalong muluto by Cora Almirino. She teaches literature and creative writing at Cebu Normal University. She also writes for Sunstar Weekend Cebu. She has won awards for her Cebuano poetry, which have been published in various national magazines. Una, inita ang mantika sa kaha. Ikaduha, gisaha ang sibuyas, bumbay ug ahos. Ikatulo, ilunod ang iyang kumo nga iya kunong isumbag sa imong nawong. Ikaupat, isunod ang iyang mga tiil nga iyang ipatid nimo. Ikalima, isagod apil ang ubang bahin sa iyang lawas. Ikaunom, babo kali. Ikapito, tuslok-tusloka sa tildor, mas maayo kung kutsilyo. Ikawalo, timplahi dayog pamalikas og maldisyon. Ikasiyam, tilawi. Ikapulo, hauna. Dayon kana, kunway lami ilawog sa iro.
This means that before men were the only ones who were able to write. As I've said in the introduction part, over the course of history, there have been more famous men writers than female writers. These women writers were oppressed and did not have any voice in both political and literary stand. This poem served as a revenge to male writers.
Our report, we have discussed about the status quo of Filipino women writers, English as an equalizing factor, profiles of Filipino women writers in English, report on the development in contemporary women's writings, and about the village, and report on the village fiction. And the last is Almiranos Unsaon Pag-isa sa bana nga manghulga o asawang dili hibalong-mulong. So therefore, the group conclude that women writers contributed as a protest to social for gender discrimination and political issues. It also proved to male writers that they have a voice too.